Hello fellow tankers, this is Dauntless, and today I'm going to be playing another game in my Tier 5 French light tank, the AMX ELC. Now, I apologize, I had stated in the last video that I do have 6 cents on this vehicle, when in fact I do not. I actually just purchased this vehicle on this account, and I've been trying to play it so I can get a bat chat at some point, because I do have the Lorraine 40 ton, and I've been training a crew for it. Anyway, that being said, I kind of spoke about the ELC in the past replay, but this tank is a completely different animal now that it has special matchmaking and that its speed has been nerfed and its HP has been nerfed considerably, making this a very easy vehicle to kill if you can hit it. And it's really competitive in some aspects in low tier like this, but when you get into the tier 7 games, it can be kind of interesting to play. That being said, I do use the smaller gun and I shoot a lot of APCR because you can't pen anything with this thing unless you're shooting at tier 5s, and even then I bounce a lot of stuff, which is kind of sad. And the accuracy, if you're trying to snipe with it, it's just not the greatest. But as you'll see in this replay, this vehicle does have the capacity to carry if you play it correctly. So I would advise you, if you do play this tank, play it really sneaky, and I guess ultimately, just like any game, never give up. I feel like a lot of players really have a tendency to play games, and then when they see their team being steamrolled, they're thinking, okay, I'm in a bottom tier, whatever, screw it, let's go drown ourselves, or just kind of YOLO in. But if you play really smart and you use the map to your advantage, especially when you're in a light tank, you really have those chances to pull off some cool wins, as you'll see in this replay. And I advise you to just stick to your guns and just really do the best you can to not only outplay your opponent, but also to outsmart them. Anyway, diving into the game here. The map today is going to be on Arctic region, and as you can see, the lineup is not the greatest. I mean, granted, both teams are equally bad in a sense. I mean, there's a lot of red team players on each team. The big difference that I see here is that they just have a lot more meat, so to speak. Yes, we have some heavy tanks at the top, and we have on average more tank destroyers than we do normal vehicles, putting our HP pool at a disadvantage. Not a huge one. I mean, they also have 5 heavy tanks, as you can see up here, versus our 4. That being said, this is where the heavy tanks brawl it out, and judging by their lineup, I have a feeling that we are going to get massacred down in here, and depending on how our tank destroyers play to defend our base, we could be annihilated. But again, the ELC is not going to be able to really brawl with heavy tanks very effectively, and I don't advise it. But at the same time, because of its low HP and poor maneuverability, going over here and brawling with the mediums is also not great, and because there are not very many good spotting locations, especially at low tier, for this sort of vehicle, I'm kind of left out of options, and I decide to play my role more as a tank destroyer than anything this game, but also as a light tank. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this replay. So I decide at the very beginning of the game that I'm going to go down into this G6 area. Very common among medium tank players to take this location, as well as some light tank players. Now, there are 2 options on how to play this place. You can sit in the bush that is down below here, and you can actually see that position reviewed in my How to Spot on Arctic Region video. But I don't know, in a low tier game like this without very many guys to shoot for me, I just feel like it's not really worth it to sit in that bush, because it puts me at a risk from being killed very quickly, especially something like the SU-85. If it's shooting like the derp cannon, could kill me very quickly, and I just really don't want to risk getting killed that early on in the game. You know, this is good matchmaking for this vehicle. It's a big map, and I do have, the ability to carry this if I really choose to, and that just means conserving my hit points very early on in the game. I feel like a lot of light tank players don't seem to understand how important it is to conserve your hit points at the beginning of the game. I would say, unless you're at the halfway mark of a game, which is like around 7 minutes, 8 minutes, around there. Unless you're at the 8-minute mark, or unless they have half their enemy vehicles remaining, it's really not a great idea to play very rashly. When it's at the halfway point in terms of vehicles or in terms of time left remaining, you really don't want to be out there, because again, with this vehicle, if I take one hit at any point right now just by playing as a scout, even if it is to get 1,000 spotting damage, that means for the entirety of the game, I'm going to have to play my vehicle without having to take a hit. And unfortunately, without Sixth Sense, my better judgment, my own personal Sixth Sense, you know, not the skill, but as a player with a lot of experience and kind of feeling when I'm being lit, and or my HP are going to be the only two factors that I'll have to keep me, you know, shooting and keeping me alive in this game. Because, you know, every time I get lit, I might get hit, and that just leaves me with taking maybe 2-3 hits at the most. And that's something that I can't really afford to do in this vehicle. Anyway, I think about sitting here and supporting my heavies, but I'm thinking, okay, it's kind of a stalemate going on over there. It looks a little bit more exciting in the north. There's some tanks like the PZ4, for instance, is just sitting out in the open, and I know that if I sit up on this cliff here where this SU-85I is sitting, I'll have the ability to snipe down and take some shots. So I switch over to my normal AP rounds because I realize that these vehicles are all soft, and I probably need to save some of those APCR rounds for those heavies once they manage to push their way through, and yes, I do feel like they're going to push their way through. I fire here and critical hit the T-67. This gun, again, not the most reliable, but I definitely got lit doing that, so I'm going to sit back here and wait for a little bit just to make sure I am not lit before I start shooting again. This SU-85 is getting a little greedy, and he's taking some hits, most likely from the Stug. Yep, he got killed because he got greedy, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of players just don't seem to realize. They think getting that one shot off is more important than surviving, and with that mentality, there's no way you could ever carry a team to victory unless you get super lucky or unless you have really good frontal armor. The second you just let yourself just get hit, even though you're continuously taking damage, thinking, oh, I just have to make that one more shot, then no, you're going to lose every time. And definitely do not play autoloaders, because with that mentality, you're going to just unload a clip and die pretty much every single time, and you cannot play autoloaders like that. So I decided to take advantage of this little location here. Again, I do not have Sixth Sense, but with the great camouflage of this vehicle and this distance, I feel like it's okay. I activate my binoculars here, and the M4 is again lit. This gun is really kind of trolly, and I'm doing my best to put down fire at long range. I am shooting my APCR because I want to make sure these shots count. I believe I also have a little bit more velocity, meaning I don't have to lead the enemy vehicles as much. So I just have to put one more shot into this guy, and I just cannot seem to connect. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 more shots. The alpha damage is not the greatest. And of course, I bounce the mantlet. One more shot, another bounce. And this is why, this is a tier 5 vehicle I'm shooting at, guys. And I just bounced again. And I'm shooting APCR, my gold rounds, which has only 129 pen, which is quite sad compared to the, I think it had like over 200 penetration when it was a normal tier 5 light tank with its 90mm. So I'm really trying to whittle down the life of this Churchill here. Wait for this profile of the vehicle, and I'm able to get another shot in. Now at this point, see what I mean there? That's my Sixth Sense. I got lit and I got shot. The Chaffee, fortunately only managed to hit me in the track. But I think the Stug was able to put a little hurting on me. Now we have the PZ4 left and our Arty, but it's really down to me. And that was an unlucky / lucky shot. I guess it was lucky in the sense that I hit it. It was unlucky that I only managed to crit hit him. Now, there are 6 enemy vehicles remaining, and there's only 3 of us. I'm really not counting on this little grill to be able to really do anything, and this PZ4 has gotten himself into this little hole, which, you know, he's kind of being worthless at this point. I'm not quite lit yet, and I managed to finish the kill on the M4, which was very important because he was close enough to light me. I think about popping over this ridge to shoot, but then I realize, okay, this SU is going to probably come around this corner and give me a shot. Unfortunately, this is where the physics of the map kind of troll me. He comes around the corner, very determined to kill this PZ4, which he successfully does. Manages to hurt himself a little bit, and he gives me his backside for a split second. I'm able to put one in and catch him on fire. Now I'm going to pause the game here really quick because I find myself in basically what's a 1 versus 3. They're all tier 5s, and I have an Arty on my side, but again, not a very good Arty player, and he's probably not going to be able to do much, especially on this kind of setup. He's kind of in a hole. Actually, he's not in a hole. He's just sitting right in the open over there. He's going to get himself killed, I'm assuming, very quickly. I'm down to 2 APCR shells, which is really unfortunate. I was a little bit trigger happy early on, and I wasted some of them, which I regret now. But I'm a one-shot for the KV-1. I'm not sure. No, the Stug was definitely using the small gun, so I'm not a one-shot quite yet with the Stug. But if I sit here, I know the Churchill and the KV-1 will eventually push up. Now, if they push up into the open here, great for me. But again, if they turn around and manage to connect one, I'm kind of trapped. And if I tried to back up and come back over this corner, if the Stug is still sitting up here, he's going to be able to hit me as well. So this is a very tricky situation I find myself in. And I'm really thinking here, okay, what do I do? If I stay here too long, I'm going to get myself killed, and there it is. Stug manages to take out my track and damage my engine at the same time. Apparently I was lit there, and I should have played a little safer. Now I'm definitely a one-shot for everything left, and of course our team is trying to tell me how to play here. This Churchill is definitely lighting me right now, and he comes around the corner, and he tries to take a couple snapshots at me, but fortunately for me, he misses. And my engine is damaged, and so I'm only able to go a whopping 40 kilometers an hour, which I guess isn't terrible. And I know I'm not lit here, so I double back, and I'm thinking, okay, if this Churchill has managed to spot the artillery, he's probably going to just go balls in and give me his side, thinking that I had run away. Again, my team is telling me to go camp. This is the guy that got killed in a hole because he just sat there. Anyway, that being said, I am sitting here kind of just playing with my gun depression a little bit, waiting to activate my binoculars. And this is where my sixth sense goes off. And no, not the sixth sense in the game, but the sixth sense that I have wired in my brain. I'm thinking, okay, if I was a Stug, I would be making a beeline down this way, because the last time I was lit, I was heading this direction. He's probably thinking, okay, we got to surround him. He's in a fast tank. And so this is why I make the move when I do. And it's a good thing I do too, because if I had waited a split second longer, this game probably wouldn't have turned out the way it did. So there we go. The great reusable consumable is back. I'm able to get my engine up and running, which is awesome. And I decide that it's in my best interest to sit in this bush right here. Now, this is for 2 reasons. One, if the Stug manages to come through here to try to surround me or ambush me, I'm definitely going to get a shot. 2, if he comes around this corner, I'll probably spot him before he spots me, and because he's in a tank destroyer, by the time he comes around this corner, I'm going to be able to put a shot into his track, and he's not going to be able to get a second shot or get a shot into me. And this is going to protect me from being lit from anything over here. So, anyway. So no sooner do I sit in this location thinking, okay, I wonder where this Stug is. Boom, there he is. Right on cue. And I'm able to put 1 shot in. He panics, comes around, and this is very fortunate that he misses by a very, very close margin. But I'm able to secure the kill. This was a very important kill, because if I wasn't able to kill him there, or if I was still sitting around the corner hoping to get shots on that Churchill, which, looking where he is now, I probably would have been able to kill him, it could have been pretty bad, because at this point I would have killed him, thinking, okay, where do I go? If I had turned around, I would have been dead. And if I had pushed forward, the KV-1, who knows where he is, and I would have been in a very bad position. And so this is why thinking ahead and thinking where enemies are is very, very important. The KV-1 is lit, and what he just did there is very crucial to this game as well. What did he do? He didn't push and stay out in the open, he ducks down. And he ducks down into the hole. Now I'll explain in a second why this is important. As you can see on the mini-map, he is chasing me. He's approaching me, he's coming closer. He's thinking I'm most likely going to cap. Alright, well he gets unlit, that means I'm unlit as well. And I'm going to turn around and try to ambush him. Much like I did the Stug 2, or whatever that Stug was, the Stug 4. I'm going to try to read the enemy. And I'm thinking, okay, he's down in that hole right there, and he's either going to A, come through here, or B, come across. Because he knows that if I double back and try to spin around, I'm going to probably get lit around here or here. He doesn't know where I am. He's looking around. And again, tier 5, he's not going to have 6th sense. He has no clue that he's lit here. I'm out of APCR, unfortunately, and I only have AP. And it's only about a 50-50 that I'm able to pin him at this angle. And something really important that I'll mention here. So when I mentioned earlier that he was down in this hole, this gave, and the fact that he was moving this way, really There's a good 90% chance that he was going to pop out right here. And this is why I took this position that I am in now, because this gives me the chance to shoot him in the side. The second he got lit here, he gave me a side. I could have shot him, and what would he have done? He would have backed down to this hole. Then what? He's going to be sitting there waiting, playing peekaboo with me, and then at that point, the Churchill is capturing the base. And in that position, I would have had to push down in there, try to reset the cap, and there's a good chance I could have got killed by this KV-1, who would have taken 2 shots to kill. What I did here was I waited for him to drive a good deal out into the open and pretty much sealing his fate. Because now he's like, oh crap, I'm getting shot at. He's giving me his side because he's trying to drive straight back into that hole, and I'm able to confirm the kill. Now it's a 1 versus 1. Things are getting tricky here. I was able to outplay those 2 vehicles. How am I going to outplay this Churchill? I know he's going to take a couple shots to kill. Last I saw, I was able to whittle down his health quite a bit, but I think he has about 200 hit points remaining. I'm sitting at right around 1500 damage, and I have 5 kills. If I'm able to confirm this kill, I'm gonna be able to get a Top Gun medal, which would be kind of cool, and I'll probably get Ace Tanker for this game. So I've done what I can to carry this team. I've been a scout, I've been a tank destroyer, I've been all sorts of things, and now it's right down to the wire. And this is where I'm going to have to use my scouting abilities. I have the advantage here. See how small my view range is right down here? PZ4, go Cap, don't get cocky, it's just like calm your tits. But you see how small my view range is. Well, the Churchill is a heavy tank, and that probably means that his view range is going to be as good as mine or worse. So I'm going to get myself into this elevated position here, and I'm going to activate my binoculars, maxing them out past 445. He's a heavy tank, he's going to easily get himself lit, and I have HE loaded. Now, the elevation on this vehicle isn't great, and so I'm not able to get a shot in, but he is going to be lit for a little bit longer, and boom, there we go. Managed to hit him in the back of the tank for 20 damage, resetting the cap. That's good. I now have another minute and 30 seconds that I can play with him. I pull forward, and I wait to get the shot. He gets unlit, but my binoculars kick in, and I'm unable to shoot him again. I decide I need to go for the lower plate, and so I shoot, and I connect. I'm not sure if that was a lower plate shot or not, but I don't have Sixth Sense, and I was right on the edge of that green line, so I'm really kind of thinking, okay, maybe I'm lit, maybe I'm not. I don't think he has a clue. So I load my last HE round, and I just shoot blind, and fortunately, I'm able to connect. I most likely hit him right in the turret, and that's how I was able to splash him hard enough on that flat armor to confirm the kill, ending the game with 1600 damage and 6 kills. Anyway guys, hopefully you found this gameplay entertaining to watch. The main reason I want to show this was, again, one, show you the capacity that this new ELC has, but also in a game like this not to give up. Just because you're in a light tank, just because you're outclassed, just because you're surrounded or outnumbered, it doesn't mean you have to give up and just YOLO. Most players in that situation would have probably YOLO'd that Churchill and died, or just run away or drown themselves, or just go try to cap or do whatever. But playing predictably is the way you're going to get yourself killed. You know, when you drive on the roads, everyone says, be a predictable driver. Why? If you do something unpredictable, people aren't going to expect it, and you're going to get in a wreck. Well, in tanks, it's the exact opposite. If you're predictable, people are going to be able to tell exactly where you are, and you want to have the jump on them every time. Just like I did with that Stug, just like I did with that KV-1, and just like I did with the Churchill. You want to outplay them, and you want to outplay them one-on-one in order to get the advantage on them and confirm the kill in order to progress to the next vehicle until you manage to get yourself to a win. If you manage to get yourself surrounded or just play poorly and get killed early on or not conserve your HP, you're going to just be another player that's just going to YOLO in his ELC, and everyone's going to be like stupid noob in a light tank. But you get yourself into a situation where you're towards the end. Of course, somehow you've managed to survive and somehow you've managed to carry your team, and everybody is telling you how to play. But when you're in a game where you die in the first minute, no one tells you how to play. Everyone's just like, oh, you're an idiot, if that. But no one says a word to all the other players who have died early on in the game. But apparently the person that's alive is the one that's going to get ridiculed and told what to play, even though, anyway, rant over. Anyway, hopefully, if you guys like this replay, I would really appreciate it if you give it a like down below. It really helps my channel out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more content like this in the future. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.